Hello everyone, welcome to this Next.js Beginner Series playlist. In this playlist, I'll be teaching about the very basic functionalities that Next.js provides, which you can use to make your dream application. So let's dive right in. By the end of the series, you would have deployed such application. Now, I know it doesn't look a lot, but yeah, it helps you cover all the basics. So let's look into how to set up the project itself using Vercel now. Alright everyone, so for the course of this project, I would be using VS Code. You're free to use whichever IDE that you are comfortable with. So now to create your JS project, what you want to do is do npx create next app at the rate latest. Currently, Next.js 15 is the latest version. Uh, Whichever version you are working with at the time of you watching this video will be used for creating this application. Next up will be the name of the project that you want to build. So I'll be doing log app tutorial. So this will set up a basic skeleton application in your project. You can select what you want to use. Since we are just diving in, I'll be not using TypeScript. I'll keep ESLint. It doesn't bother a lot. We'll be making use of Tailwind CSS. We'll be using SHC directory as well. Now, it's imperative that you use app router. This is the latest folder-based routing logic that Next.js provides. And yeah, you should be developing on this. Turbo pack as well, no import aliases. Once it has taken all the parameters from you, it will install the necessary dependencies. Now you can see over here in the installing dependencies, it is importing React and React DOM packages. So yeah, uh, understand that Next.js is built on top of React. Uh, and yeah, it's a very good framework for web development purpose. All right, once your application is done installing, what you can go ahead and do is do open folder and over here select your blog app tutorial folder or whatever the name of the project that you have given. Now you can see bunch of files over here. Don't worry, I'll be explaining each and every one of them and their purpose, at least the relevant ones. What you should do though is go ahead and do npm run dev. So when you first create a Next.js project, it provides you with this homepage. Give it a second to load. And yeah, this is the homepage that Next.js 15 provides now. Get started by editing src/app/page.js. Save and see your changes instantly. So when we actually do npm run dev, this hot reloading functionality takes place, which is a game changer because it really improves developer efficiency. Now let's go ahead and see what they are talking about. This src/app/page.js. So off. Before that, let's understand what the folder structure. Node modules is the folder where all the packages are installed. This shouldn't be pushed on GitHub and most of the time it won't bother you either. Next up, next folder as well. This is not something you need to work with or know about, to be very honest, right now. Public folder is where all your images will lie. Currently, it's of no use again for us. Next up, we have all these different types of files. Most of them you won't need. In SRC folder is where your main application logic lies. You have this favicon.ico. basically this icon that you see on top of the browser, your globals.css, that is the theme and different application wide settings that you provide. Next, you have this layout file, and then finally your page.js file. Alright, so let's go ahead and make some changes to this file. Hello world. So now we edited, if you look at this, we edited this link for deploying this project. And yeah, as you can see, it hot reloads it. If I remove it again, it would be gone. So yeah, that's your basic skeleton done. Now we'll go ahead and set up our own application using Next.js. Now what I want you to do is go ahead, click this down arrow and remove this entire thing. And you'll see as soon as you delete all the contents of this file, you will see a error in your browser. The default export is not the React component in slash page. So what basically is happening over here is this page.js file is being imported in this layout file over here in children. And since it's empty, it was expecting a JavaScript function, but since it's empty over here, it's giving this error. Now, how you solve this error is by export default function. Now, this is our home page, so I'll be giving it the name home, and it will still give up error. Oh, yeah, the error is gone now. So, what you need to do in this function, you can return your JSX file. So, what I mean by that is it's basically an HTML file, if you look, if you think about it, but it's wrapped in a JavaScript function. Now, this can be a simple h1 tag. Let's go with welcome to our page. And with here, you can see our text is being displayed. And with that, we have started with a skeleton for our application. Now, what I want you to do is go ahead and search for ShadCN button. When you do so, this will be the first link, button at shadcn.com. Go ahead in this and do npx this, copy this command and run it over. Do control C, Y, and then run it over here. So what it will do is add a UI component from ShadCN. Now, why will we are doing this? Because ShadCN provides you with many beautiful looking UI components that are dynamic and adaptable. And you either, instead of spending a lot of time making this UI by yourself, it's provided to you in big sizes and it's highly customizable. All right. So yeah, when if you look over at the terminal over here, you will notice that you need to create a components.json file to add components. This happens at the first step since it's the first time we are using ShadCN over here in the project. Next, it will ask which style, choose whatever you want to do. And now the thing, at the time of making this video, what has happened is Next.js 15 just recently launched. That's why ShadCN is not exactly compatible with it yet. So we'll do use legacy peer dips and give it some time. It will set up. Again, do use legacy dips. And there you go. If you look over here now, created one file src components UI button.jsh. So let's take a look at this file. If you go over here, you see that this components slash UI and there's this button file. As you can see, it's plain tailwind CSS. mostly. But yeah, what I want to point out over here is this is highly customizable. Now, how do you use this button? Simply come back to this page over here, go to the top, write import button, and you see this components UI button. Just choose this. The button component is imported. Now, also, what happens is now if I directly use button over here, this will throw me an error because everything needs to be in a single over here. If we, oh, right, our development server is turned off. Let's turn it on again. And now if I reload this page, it will give me an error. So if you come over here and hover over this as well, it will show you JSS expressions must have one parent element. So what you can do over here is simply wrap it into an empty brackets, and that will solve the problem. Like, so now you can see that we have our H1 tag, welcome to our page, and we have our button, click new. Now, this is not what you want at your website, right? And also, when I click this button, nothing is happening. How do I add functionality to this button? So over here, you can add an argument on click. Now, this on click can be name of the function, or you can simply declare an anonymous function over here. Let's go with a simple alert. Welcome to home page. Now you can see over here, it's throwing me an error. And the reason for that is currently this page, since there are no declaratives up here, it is being rendered on server side. You can read over here, server error, event handlers cannot be passed to client component prompts. What basically this page is trying to tell me is this event handler on click that I have passed it to button, this can't be done on server side. This must be done on client side. So the one of the best features of Next.js is the server side rendering. It helps you pre-hydrate your pages and help out with SEO, since the scrollers and scrapers are able to read a general context of what your page is about. Anyways, the way to deal with this error is by simply writing use client. What we will do is render all these things on the client side. Now, if I go ahead and click on this button, it shows me the message welcome to homepage. And that's still not looking good. So let's work on its UI. But yeah, let's come back to the UI part later on. I want you to show the folder based routing that I was talking to you about. So the way routing works in Next.js is in the app level, this page.js is your root route. That is when you go on slash, this page is shown at page.js. Now, what happens is Next.js provides us with folder based routing. What I mean by that is if when I make a folder about over here and a page in it, page.js, and do export default function about page. Let's go with that. About page, return, return. Okay. If I can type return, that is return a simple H1 tag. This is our about page. So what's happening over here is, all right, it's showing it. Oh, okay. I missed a bracket over here. All right. Yeah, that's working fine now. So what's happening over here is when I created this about folder, this about becomes a route. So when I go to our browser and do slash about, this is our about page. It takes me to this page. So routing becomes super easy in Next.js. You don't need to declare router and what are the paths available. You can do for this folder based routing. Now we'll be learning more about this in upcoming videos. How can you dynamic route folders and stuff? But yeah, this is one of the main functionalities in Next.js. Now let's go ahead and work with the UI. Now for the UI, we'll be using Tailwind CSS. That is this tailwind.config.js file and bunch of things that might overwhelm you at first. But yeah, give it some time. I'll explain you what Tailwind CSS is about. So basically, the way Tailwind CSS works is, let's go back to our home page. This welcome to our page isn't big enough for me. So what I'll do is mention a class name property. Now this class name over here, we do our Tailwind CSS settings. So what I mean by that is, let's do with the setting text for Excel. Let's go with that. You can see this size became big, right? So the way Tailwind CSS works is using class name, you are able to manipulate the CSS, that is the visuals of visual as well as where this component lies on the page, just by adding a class name to it. So now if I go further changes to it, that is text for Excel, then I go font bold. See, it became bold. And if I do this MB6, can you tell me what happened over here? So what MB stands for is margin, bottom, and 6. So if you look over here, we have added a bit of gap between this button and our heading. Like if I do MB60, this button comes all the way down here. Right. Now to bring this on center of the page, it doesn't look good on top left, right? Let's bring it to the center of the page. What we'll do is convert this empty to a div element and okay. Yeah, that's supposed to go there. And yeah, once we have converted it to div element, to center the member of it, center the children of this element, what we'll do is enter class name. Okay, something. Class name equals to flex. As soon as we mention flex, these elements come into, how do I explain it to you? You would understand it better if you go to this Tailwind CSS and read about the various settings. Right. But yeah, let me just do the whole thing. When you do flex and then flex call, alright. So you see these two elements come into a column, but they occupy entirety of the space. Alright. Next up, what we do is do items. Okay, I can type that right. Items center. So these things now, instead of occupying the entirety of space, they occupy only the amount of space they need and come to the center, how do I say, horizontally. Alright, that is middle. Now what we want to do is center them to the page as well. So to center them for the page, what we'll do is do just justify center and min edge screen. By using these two things, you are able to center your elements in middle of the page. Right. We'll apply these same, let's apply the same settings to our about page as well. Let's come over here, go to the about route and wrap this h1 element in our div element. Okay. And uh, which is I can copy it, right? Yeah. This is our about page, and this doesn't look classy enough to me. So why don't we go ahead and copy this same welcome to our page h1 tag and paste it over here. Welcome to about page and make it over here. Let's go welcome to Nextjs, like what we have in our deployed application. If you come to home over here, welcome to Nextjs. So yeah, welcome to Nextjs. And over here, if we head to about page, over here we are showing this about page. The text doesn't really matter. Welcome to about page. All right. And just to show you that the rest of the functionality works here as well, we'll insert the button as well over here. Why not? Copy this, paste it over here. Now, if you find that this button also, make sure to do use client since you are using on click over here now, and make sure to import the button. Do import button and it should start showing up here. Choose this first one, and if you click on it, it shows you the message welcome to home page. Let's clean up this button, right? So like let's put this over here and this click me on the next slide. Right. This doesn't impact the UI itself, as you can see. This just makes the code more cleaner. And welcome to about page. So if you click on this, it shows welcome to about page. If you go on the home page, this one shows welcome to main page. And yeah, that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll be taking a look at how to add navbar to our application, the one you see over here. Cause let's be honest, it's not exactly convenient. Go ahead to type whatever route we want to go to every time, right? And if you want to follow along with the code that I'm using, you can go to my GitHub page, blog app. I'll be putting the link or to this repo in my description. And for each of the video, the branches are separate. For example, for the current video, you can follow the step 1 skeleton app branch. In the readme file, I have mentioned what we did in this branch, how to set up, and the key features and the screenshots for what we did. All right. I hope you have learned something, how to set up your skeleton application using Next.js. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.